last main exhibit in the Natural History Museum is our climate change exhibit in California. It's called Altered State Climate Change in California. And that exhibit is really about all the sort of abstract concepts we've been hearing about for climate change. And what does that mean for those of us on a day-to-day basis? It means that the skiing that we used to do might be impacted. It means that the nectarines and peaches we eat from California might be impacted because of climate change. It means that the oceans around us, well, we eat fish out of there, but also things like the blue whale. All of those things are being impacted by climate change. But I think the most important part of that exhibit is something called the Arena for Engagement, where we actually tell people that you can make a difference and that even what you decide to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, those have consequences and implications. It's not hard to help our planet. You can make simple decisions as long as you know and are knowledgeable about what decisions have what kind of impact. People will do the right thing if they're given the choices, if they're given the knowledge and given the power to be able to control their lives and to sort of decide that they want to make a difference. And that's what that part of the exhibit's about. And we're so fortunate, we actually have two pieces from Maya Lin. One is one that's currently installed, and it's a wire topography of the bay, San Francisco Bay. And the idea is that she was looking at the scenery, the topography around us in new ways. And that I think she was inspired by how nature and people intersect with each other, and that the bay is so populated and yet it has its own beauty, it has its own essence to it.
The rainforest is 4 stories high in a 90-foot diameter spherical glass dome. The temperature is maintained at 82 to 85 degrees. The humidity is maintained at 75% or more through a misting system. The 100,000-gallon fish tank is kept at 80 degrees and doubles as a temperature and humidity regulator. Radiant floor heating keeps the 82 to 85 degree temperature on cooler days. The rainforest is divided vertically in 2 parts. The living rainforest is on one side and the rainforest exhibits are on the other side. The different levels represent different rainforests in the world. The lower level is the flooded Amazon rainforest. The second level is the Borneo rainforest. The third level represents the Madagascar rainforest, and level 4 represents the Costa Rica rainforest. Trees were grown in Florida and planted with the use of a crane. Visitors take a spiral ramp from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor, and from the 3rd floor to the 4th floor. The entire museum is wheelchair accessible, including the roof. The entrance is at level 2, which represents the Borneo rainforest. In the Borneo section, there are flying frogs and gliding lizards known as flying dragons. There is also a bat cave. The third level represents the Madagascar rainforest. About 80% of the animals in Madagascar do not exist anywhere else on Earth. Almost half of the world's chameleons are found only in Madagascar. Many chameleons have head or facial ornamentation such as horn-like projections or large crests on top of the head. Males are usually more ornamented than females. The fourth level represents the Costa Rica rainforest. The entire rainforest has over 40 species of birds and butterflies, including tanagers, grosbeaks, doves, antbirds, hummingbirds, parakeets, and scarlet macaws. The top level of the rainforest has the best close-up view of butterflies. Visitors are asked to make sure they don't have any butterflies on their clothes before they enter the glass elevator on the 4th floor. The elevator goes down to the 1st floor, which represents the flooded Amazon rainforest. There is a 100,000-gallon fish tank on the 1st level. A 25-foot acrylic tunnel passes under the fish tank. Visitors looking down from the spiral ramp on the 2nd level can see the visitors looking up at the fish from the tunnel. A team of over 100 volunteer divers will make scheduled dives into the flooded forest tank to take care of the exhibit. There are 1,600 live animals, including 600 free-flying birds and butterflies, and 100 reptiles and amphibians. There are over 30 different species of orchids. It is the first spherical living rainforest on display in the United States and the largest in the world.
One of the most innovative pieces of our new aquarium is something called the water planet. And it's this idea that one of the things that ties all life on Earth together is liquid water. And in fact, when we look for life on other planets, the first thing we look for is liquid water. Why is that? So we celebrate water. We celebrate the fact that it's a very funny molecule in nature. It's actually not like other molecules. And what does that mean for biology? Well, it means that there are organisms that are adapted to either not having very much water or being surrounded by water. We have organisms who can only eat because water carries fluids past them. There's all these different mechanisms of evolution adaptation that go with water. And so this is a way to sort of bring this diversity and bring the sort of colorful nature of life around us, but using water as a principle, organizing principle. It also helps people think about why we should conserve fresh water, because people look at the ocean and say there's so much water, but actually that's salty water, and fresh water is actually really not common on Earth. And so there's a lot of messages that go with that. And one of the great things about this water planet is that it doesn't look like a regular aquarium. You know, aquariums have square glass tanks, and what we have is we have not regular openings, and the walls are not flat. The walls are undulating, and the idea is to make you feel like you're underwater, and so you're part of that system that that fish you're looking at is in. So it gives people a very different experience, and that helps them open their mind to think about new concepts. So when we had the opportunity to rebuild the new academy, we wanted to take what we liked about the old elements. For example, feeling like you're surrounded in the water. That was how you could bring people into the oceans and make them value the oceans. But now we didn't have to do it in a roundabout. We could do it because we could turn the acrylic that goes around it. So we now, for the example, for the coral reef tank, there's this big window where you go and you stand there and you are surrounded all around you. You look up and to your sides and you're inside the coral reef. It really is about an experience that you can't have anywhere else. That there's so many different ways to spend your time, and there's so many things happening, especially with families. And that we want the Academy to be one of those special places where you come and you build memories and you build a respect for each other, for your family, for your neighbors, for the life around you, for the planet, and really sort of come away with the awe of how wonderful the earth is, that it's full of these really strange organisms, plants that do crazy things, and you know, that there's just all this learning and all this magic all around us all the time, and people don't always take a chance to slow down and think about it. And here at the Academy, we just really want to help people look at things in new ways, open their minds to things they may not have thought about previously, and to think about science and nature as part of their everyday lives. It's not part of somebody else's life. It's not something that's removed from our everyday life. It's everything around us. I mean, when you think about evolution, people don't realize that it's not just something you learn in school or don't learn in school. Evolution is about medicine. It's about how we think about how the oceans will change. It's about what we do. It's about our brains. Everything is related to evolution in the natural world. People don't feel connected to science anymore, and people definitely don't feel connected to nature anymore. And here's our chance to sort of bring that magic to them and inspire them to think about science and nature in new ways. And my view of science and nature is that it's wonderful. We hardly know anything. There's so much to discover. It's so much fun. It's all about curiosity. And it's shocking that other people think that science is all about facts and figures and boring things to memorize. And I think of science as a complete opposite. And that's what we want to bring people to understand, that it's fun, it's not painful, it's something wonderful that they would benefit by bringing it into their lives. It's not supposed to be painful, it's not supposed to be medicine or a homework assignment, it's supposed to be fun. And I think for me as a kid, I just thought of the Academy as it was a fun place. It's always some exhibit that I hadn't seen, or a new live animal, or a behavior by some animal that I would never have expected. There's always something new to learn. But I think it's more than that. It was an experience with my family. It's that kind of I'll always remember, you know, coming here with my family. And that's what we'd like to bring to the next generation of the Bay Area and beyond. And it's that science of excitement, enthusiasm, passion, I think is the #1 thing.